Okay, so hello everyone uh, to this fire chat. Oh, I will skip this. Simon already introduced the session, so there will be presentations from Lavanya. On my side, I will introduce briefly Alter AI-powered solutions and mainly Physics AI. My name is Diana Mavrutieva, and then we'll go through the presentation of Lavanya. So I think in the audience we have mainly engineers, motor designers. Maybe you have already stepped in the area of AI, machine learning, design exploration. Maybe not. I wanted just to give a quick introduction of what is the AI we talk about. And within Alter, we have several solutions implementing AI and machine learning with three main goals to improve the CA processes and results by reducing repetitive tasks, allowing the possibility to make quick, real-time predictions and to gain insight. So all this is exposed in different solutions with the same purpose to improve the CAA process and to leverage AI. Uh, like I say, it's not about replacing engineers by AI, but it is about empowering engineers by AI. So we have several products and solutions within our portfolio. Maybe you are aware, maybe not. Um, I assume maybe many of you have heard at least HyperStudy for design exploration and optimization. And you are using this with Flux Motor to gain insight, to identify key parameters, optimize performances, and also making predictions, which is also machine learning, or first level of machine learning. I will not talk about HyperStudy, so the tool that you will see today in this presentation um, presented by Lavanya, the tool is Physics AI. And Physics AI is the further level in leveraging AI and machine learning to make predictions. It is based, uh, yeah. It is about making real, quick predictions, replacing the solver, and leveraging existing data, geometry results that you have already simulated, and which can be leveraged to train a predictive model and be able to make fast predictions later on for new designs. Concretely, what it is about. So I have set here some images with motor design, but it can be something else. So basically what it is about. It is about replacing this approach that you know when we design a new motor, we have some requirements, we run simulations, maybe we are using optimization and DOE to speed up the process. Nevertheless, we are running simulations, we generate some data to come up with a design. Now, this data that we have generated previously or data that we have available, we can use it to train a predictive model and replace the solver for next evaluation. So typically here, all these evaluations will be done in a much faster way. And at the end, the benefit for you as an engineer, as a user, is to save time and be able to make faster and better decisions. So this is what it is about. Physics AI is using geometric deep learning, so machine learning techniques that you are not, it's not compulsory to know exactly what it is about. What is needed to know is that Physics AI will learn directly from the geometry, the mesh, and the results. You can actually get rid of the parameterization if you don't have a parameterized model, but you have geometries, variants already simulated. You can directly use them to train Physics AI. The steps are really very simple in the sense that we are using the existing data, so the data available, to train Physics AI and then be able to make predictions. So those are the steps, whatever the physics or the analysis we are using. This tool is already exposed in Outer Tools in HyperMesh environment. And it is solver neutral, so you can leverage Physics AI to make predictions with respect to thermal analysis or structural or electromagnetics, like here today in the example. So it is solver neutral. It is based on the data available and the results, the geometries and the results. And here we have some examples. Like I said, it's solver neutral or physics domain neutral. This is an example for a thermal analysis of HVAC system. So based on available designs and results, Physics AI model is trained, then it is tested, and for a new design, we can directly make quick prediction with instead of running the solver. And similarly, if we take an example of a bracket here, the process is similar. Based on the existing historical data available, the model is trained, and later on we make predictions. Another one, and of course it can also be applied to electromagnetics. If we have data available to be used to train Physics AI, we can make predictions for new geometries, new designs. So while the tool is really simple in the sense of what are the steps, you see, we start by importing the data available, then we train, we look at the accuracy, and we make predictions. So those steps are really affordable for anyone without specific knowledge in machine learning. But it is important to address some questions before you start using Physics AI. To define the scope, what the model should predict, what is your expectation in terms of accuracy, what for you would be acceptable accuracy for the predictions. Is it to have a guidance, a rough idea? Is it to have a more precise predictions? And what are the results you would like to predict? We need to, it's not I want to predict everything. We need to specify what is it a KPI value? Is it a curve? Is it what performance? And last but not the least, the data available. This is really the very important point. How much data is available? What is the quality of this data? Do we need to generate some more data, etc.? There are some questions to address to improve our chances to be successful with Physics AI. And especially with respect to the data, what is really important is to, it's a predictive model, and the model is only good as the data used to train it. If we train Physics AI model with irrelevant or inconsistent data, probably the predictions will reflect this. So we need to have enough data, and there is no concrete answer how much data we need because it's specific to every problem, the variety of the data, etc. So we can try. There is minimum amount of data, but there is no concrete answer how much data point we need to have an accurate predictive model. And with respect to the data variety, these are images I really like to illustrate. The data set should contain should be as representative as possible to the problem we are predicting. If we don't have enough representation of the data, we cannot expect that it predicts something it has never been seen.